Hey friends through adoption, Sherry Eldridge here again, trying a different way to get this book information to you. Sorry about the no sound on the one before. I've figured out something else that I think will work a lot better. This will apply to any adoptive mom, foster mom, stepmom, or grandmom who is doing grandparenting through kinship adoption. So I'm just going to read you, we all need to hear stories. You need to hear the stories of other moms. So I'll begin with a story each time, and then there'll be a little bit of teaching as well. So here we go. This is chapter 1, and the title of it is called Embrace Your Non-Abandoning Heart. So when one of our two sons flew the nest and was off to college, I didn't know what the next season of my life would hold, reflected Carrie, a retired elementary school teacher. She continued, whatever door opened, I wanted to enter with courage and confidence. Just like you, right? One Sunday at church, our pastor talked about a 2-year-old girl whose second set of foster parents left her at outside of an hospital emergency room, never to return. She says, my heart felt like it would beat out of my chest. I wanted to run to that hospital and swoop that little girl up in my arms. My husband looked preoccupied, so I elbowed him. When we returned from church, I told him I wanted to adopt that little girl. So we decided that I would talk to the social worker in charge of that little girl the next week. Because the case was emergent, we had to talk to her very soon. It had to happen quickly. CPS was keeping the girl in their, quote, holding room as they searched for another foster home. I lay awake every night dreaming of being the mom she needed and the mom I wanted to be for her. My husband and I enjoyed intimacy with our sons in their teens, the eye-to-eye glances, the warmth of a hug, and the laughter that could bring the roof down. I rushed out and bought a crib and got her room all ready. A stuffed bunny caught my eye at the store, and I bought it for her as a homecoming gift. When the social worker knocked on our front door on homecoming day, I ran to welcome them. The social worker nervously smiled and accepted and attempted small talk as our new daughter released the black garbage bag containing her belongings. So sad. I looked into her eyes and sensed the pain of former abandonments and the fear that we would do the same. My heart broke and tears welled. I could hardly speak a word. I promised myself then that I would never, ever abandon her. After a long pause, I held out the bunny. But my daughter threw it to the ground and stepped on it as hard as possible, and also on my toes. My husband scurried to the back room, and the social worker said a quick goodbye. There I was, all alone with a child who wanted nothing to do with me. She looked at me with such hatred. I'd never seen anything like it. That was just the beginning of her rejecting behaviors. She rejected me in all kinds of forms and sizes of behaviors, and they only escalated as the years went by. She pushed away and dismissed every act of love with anger. And by the time she was 10 years old, she began attacking my very character and told school teachers that I was being mean. I tried to find help for her by scouting out the best psychiatrists and therapists. The bills were exorbitant at one point, so I had to sell my wedding rings to pay. My very being triggered her. I couldn't believe it. I felt so trapped. If I entered a room, she'd make a quick exit. If I picked her up after school, she'd stare out the window and refuse any conversation. How can that be? I am the mom who wants to provide a haven of love for her. At one point, I wondered if I was doing something wrong in my parenting. So I went to the social worker who originally arranged the adoption. When I shared my suffering, she pursed her lips and told me my child's behaviors were no big deal. Standing to her feet, to my feet, I protested through tears. It is a big deal, and I can't bear to have my heart broken one more time. I ran to the car and sobbed, and I wondered if I was a loser mom. After all, I couldn't even love my child as much as I had envisioned for her. Now this is, I'm sure you moms are relating to this. Your story may or may not be like Carrie's, but she's one of your fellow moms who reminds you that you are not alone. You are not alone on this journey of motherhood. The fellowship is like a tapestry woven together by our sovereign God. And so the teaching part of this chapter is called The Dream of Motherhood. Dreams of motherhood can be beautiful because God wired women this way. Did you know that your dream of motherhood began in eternity past, before you ever drew one breath on planet Earth? The dream maker himself imprinted the dream of the mother-child relationship as indescribable intimacy marked by uninterrupted gazes, laughter, hugs, and a love that would never be forsaken or abandoned. You long to communicate this dream of loving non-abandonment to your child. All moms wish that dream could happen here on earth. But we became broken people when Adam and Eve made the wrong choice about eating that apple. The result is that we all live as broken people in a broken world. You may or may not be aware of this dream, but it is in your soul. And sometimes you may have unrealistic expectations of yourself. God is not calling you to be a perfect mom. Instead, He sees your brokenness in this world and longs to heal you from the wounds that your child has inflicted. So, if we were to describe or define a non-abandoning heart, it would be a willingness to have your heart broken when welcoming unknown, painful realities. That's you, Mom. You have done so much. Now I've got another story from another mom, Sarah, a 65-year-old, just asked okay, this is a rough draft, okay? Just ask Sarah, a 65-year-old grandma who is parenting a grandchild through kinship adoption. When DCS intervened the life of Sarah's daughter, who battles addiction, this grandma couldn't send her precious grandchild away. There are a lot of grandparents parenting right now. In the face of a heartbreaking situation, she chose to practice non-abandoning love. Or, there's the married woman who feels burdened by an unborn baby who will become homeless after birth. Then the thought that came about is about adoptee pushback. Adoptee pushback and rejection is caused by the original loss of the birth family. It all goes back to that, moms. And so that's all that I'm gonna share this time. I would encourage you to embrace your non-abandoning heart. Yes, it's hurting. Yes, you've been rejected. And you might even want to get a Band-Aid and just put it over your heart for the week. And remember, that you can embrace your heart. Yes, it's been broken, but you are precious to God. You are his daughter. So that's all we're going to do for now. So I'll talk to you more later. Bye-bye.